Hello, and welcome to episode number 2 of Half and Half Gets Good at Age of Empires. Maybe, eventually. Today, I'm going to drink some coffee and we're going to look at another game that I played. This game is the Ethiopians against the Lithuanians. This is about an equal level game. I'm sitting at about 820 ELO ranking, and my Lithuanian opponent is sitting at about 815. So we are pretty equivalent players. And so let's kick this game off and see what happens. And so we're going to start off here in the Dark Age. We talked a little bit last time about a build order and what those are. And again, we are running a straight archer build order. We're scouting around with our sheep. At every Age of Empires start, there is a group of 4 sheep near your town hall, and then there are 2 groups of 2 scattered around along with 2 boar. So you can see I found my boar right over here. You can see this is actually a cow. Sometimes it replaces 2 sheep with 1 cow, but they have the same amount of food. You should also have berries, at least 2 wood lines. Here's my other 2 cows. And you should have 3 piles of gold and 2 piles of stone. And so you can see I found all of my resources. And so it is time to head out to scout the opponent. And ideally, you want to do this with as little idle time as possible. You can see I've already spent 40 seconds with my town center and not producing any villagers, which is not ideal. It allows your opponent to get a lead on you in terms of villager count. But you can see he has idle eco time, which means he has time that his villagers have not been working. And so it sort of can balance out there. As we go scout the middle of the map and we realize that he is not across from us. And so now we come back to start scouting the corners. And so we are up to feudal age at 1024 in game time. And game time runs a little bit faster than real time, but I'm also running the game at a faster speed right now because just not a lot's happening. As we start to wall up, we get down to barracks to put a couple spearmen, which are anti-cavalry units, and we get double archery ranges, and we begin to produce archers. Now, if you'll notice, we found our opponent up here. He's already started to wall, so rushing him is not going to be effective. As here comes his scout, and we take it out with the spearmen that are protecting our walling villager. So we want to get fully walled. We want to get up to Castle Age so we can upgrade to Expos. And we see that he does a fast castle build, which means he is late to the feudal age, but he gets up to the Castle Age really quickly once he gets there. And so he now has a lead on us that is reflected in the score. And we can only assume that he's doing this to send out knights to raid our base. And so we're going to build a gate right here. As we continue to build villagers, we continue to work our economy. You can see we have a 1 villager lead right now. We have 6 army versus none for him. But he is already in the Castle Age, so he can begin to make other town centers to really boom his economy. And so we're going to move 2 spearmen out right now. And what we're going to start to do is we are going to begin to patrol his walls. We want to find his gates. We want to find the places that he can come out so we get early warning. So there's no holes in this wall right here. He can't get out. So we're going to come over here and we find a gate, and we're just going to park a spearman in front of it. And just in time, we see that he has knights on the field. It's 5 or 6 knights. We're aware those are probably coming our way now. So we're going to run our scout back, and we're going to queue up 5 spearmen to help defend our base, as we've got 11 archers already. Now we send out the scout again. We're just going to send him out to patrol the maps. We're looking for relics. We're looking for other resources. We're looking for good places that we can drop town centers in the future. And so we're going to explore all the corners of the map while we just wait at home. And we are 1 minute from Castle Age now. At which point we can start to get some upgrades on our archers, and we can think about moving them out. And you can see down here, he's starting to attack. And so we are doing what is called house walling. you drop a house foundation right behind the wall, so even if they break through, there's a building they can't run through. And so we're just putting house foundations everywhere. We remember from our last video that as soon as the hammer hits the foundation once, nobody can run through. And so you see they can't get through right there, and the archers are going to chase them off. And so now we assume that he is probably going to come and attack the other side of our base, which we already have houses on. We've got an idle villager. I'm not sure how long she's been sitting here, but that's never ideal. And so we get our free Ethiopian upgrade from spears to pikemen when we hit Castle Age, and we have 5 pikemen on the field patrolling. They're going to get a few hits, but they can't keep up. And in 6 seconds, our crossbow upgrade will come in. And it's now in. And so we're moving our crossbows across the base. We know he's back over here somewhere, and we just want to be able to deal with any pressure that he throws our way. And here he is. He comes down here to try to break in. Fortunately, we've got a house and a market in the way, so he's not going to be able to get through there. We have 24 military to his 10, but we are behind by 9 villagers. So we send our pikeman up here, but he's going to end up being able to escape around the back unseen. And we'll speed it up a little bit. So we prevent his pressure. Now we're going to drop a university so we can get ballistics, which is an upgrade that's very important for crossbowmen. It allows them to hit moving targets with 100% accuracy when it's combined with thumb ring. And we're dropping a monastery so that we can start to pick up relics, which will provide us free gold. We also send a villager out here to the corner of the map to build a town center to protect that relic until we can get there, and to just get another wood line. Now he's already found it. He scouted it with that knight, but we didn't notice, and so that's not ideal. He now knows we're out there and that we're unprotected. But here comes our priest to get the relic, so we will at least get that. We're also dropping a town center on a gold, and so you always want to drop 2 town centers, one on gold and one on a secondary wood line. Early in Castle Age, it just gives you the ability to produce more villagers. As here comes another monk with a relic, and we are castle dropping the hill. Being on a hill is very important. It gives you attack and defense bonuses. And so being on this hill with a castle, it should allow us to control this part of the map and funnel any of his aggression onto the front side of our map and off of this side. And so we're going to build a siege workshop behind it. We know that he knows that we're going archers. A common counter to archers is skirmishers. They're difficult to deal with without siege. And so we're going to drop a siege workshop and a stable so we can begin to tech into hussars and knights to do raiding and to deal with his skirmishers, as he now brings a group of knights down to attack our town center. And so we garrison our villagers so we can get arrow fire, but knights don't really take much damage there. And so that was just a bad decision for me to put that so far out there and to not protect it. So we move our archers out to begin pressuring his base. We're going to get a villager kill or 2 on his wood line, and we're going to start to break in with our archers. We want to try to do some eco damage. And here comes his big ball of skirmishers. And again, skirmishers are a hard counter to archers. And so even though we have numbers, we can't take this fight. We're going to have to run away from it. And so we're going to run back to our castle. Meanwhile, we've sent our villagers from our town center back towards our base, and we sent down some pikemen. This is where I make another key mistake, because I clicked for my pikemen to come down to the corner instead of patrolling them. And if I patrolled them, they would stop and attack those knights. But because I clicked for them to move there, they will go where I told them, stop, and then look for things to attack. And so I let those get away. Up at the middle of the map, we have the 3rd relic coming in, and we are grabbing that with our monk, and he is going to be intercepted by knights that are also clicked and not patrolling, and so the priest is going to get away, or so we think. But then he notices, and he's going to click off one of his knights to go attack the priest. And he stops to attack the town hall for some reason, but then he's going to finish off the priest. And we're going to drop that relic as he runs away. And so we're going to have to secure that later with one of our other priests that we send in here. So as it currently sits, we have a 16 villager deficit. Losing our second town hall down here was a disaster, and it has set us behind economically. But we're still doing good in resource count, and as we're going to pick up that second relic, and we're getting eco upgrades as we advance to Imperial Age. So we are now in Imperial Age, and one of the most important things you can do in Imperial Age right away is begin to build trebuchets. They're the most powerful siege equipment in the game, and the first person to have them will often be able to win by making pushes and winning castle wars. And so we want to drop those down right away, because we've been in a situation before where we hit Imperial first and we just simply weren't able to get trebuchets on the field quick enough. So he clicks up to Imperial. He's about 4 minutes behind us, which is huge for us in terms of game time. Our Arbalister upgrade is in, so we now have fully upgraded archers. We've got support from a couple of catapults, and we've got a few more catapults being made. As our last relic, our monk loses his mind and takes it to the castle, but we will get it where it needs to go eventually. And so we come up to begin pressuring again with our catapults. We're going to put a hole in the wall, and we want to keep him off of this gold. We know that he needs gold to make his knights, which is the unit he wants to make, and so we're trying to keep him off of it. As here come the skirmishers, and we get a big hit from our mangonels here. The biggest thing we need is for that right there to take out groups of them at a time, and we're able to do that. That's a good trade. We're willing to sacrifice those mangonels to take out the skirmishers, especially since we have a couple more already down, and we can clean up those last few skirmishers with our arbalists, and now we can push back up because we know there were only a few knights there, and we can take that with this group of 28 arbs. So we're going to push back up here. We're not going to go into the base. We're going to start to search around, and then we think better of it, and we will fall back. So meanwhile, we've built a castle down here, and it's being attacked. So we've got villagers repairing the castle, and we've got villagers attacking the battering ram that is on the front here. We don't want to lose this castle. As here he comes with some pikemen and some knights, and he's going to start to kill some of our villagers. So we garrison. We assume our castle can survive until this is dealt with, and we see that he begins to drop another castle right here. And so we bring our arbalists in for support. Now we only have 37 archers at this point in time, and we have the production, the resources to be making more, but for some reason we are not constantly producing military. It's one of the biggest mistakes we make, is not continuing to produce military as we go. And so we go under the castle here to try to clean up, to try to prevent this castle, but we're not going to be able to do it. We're taking heavy losses, and so we retreat. And we begin building we've got a trebuchet about to come out of this castle, as we ran out of stone, so we can no longer repair our castle, but we're going to unpack our trebuchet right behind. And we see now he has a third castle, so he has 3 castles right here all together. We unpack the trebuchet, and we're going to try to clean up his castle here, as we're down to 32 arbs, and we are still not producing more, which is a massive mistake. We buy some stone here so we can continue to repair our castle, and we just have our archers parked behind it, using it as a shield for the troops that he's sending after us. Meanwhile, we only have 64 villagers. He has 76. We've got him outnumbered militarily 40-9. but we really should be making more villagers and more archers at this point in time. There's no reason that it should be this far into the game and we've got so few villagers. As he gets a trebuchet here, now what I should do is have a bombard cannon to snipe that, but I don't think of that in this moment. I think of it later, and so I have to run in with my archers to get it. And I had 26 archers here when we ran in. We are going to get the trebuchet to keep our castle up, but we lose 7 archers in the process. It's probably not the best trade as he just pops out another trebuchet, but we fall back under our castle again, and we're going to use our castle. Our monks are healing our archers here, and now we finally queued up 16 more archers that are going to come out to join as he lands a trebuchet shot. We're shooting at his castle. He's shooting at our trebuchet, trying to take it down. And so we're going to notice that here in just a second. We send a villager to repair. And we're able to push back his attack. He's going to try to repair this castle, but it should go down as he drops yet another one. And so he's going to have 2 gunning for us. It's a good defense by us to be able to save our castle and take down 2 of his in the process at a key point of the map. But it's unfortunate now that we built our first castle over here where no one is at, instead of over here, which apparently is going to be the main avenue of attack for this game. And so now he's going to come in, he's going to raid my wood lines here, but we've got our secondary group of archers that I just made coming in, and they're going to clean that up easily. And now he has 3 trebuchets on the field. And at this point, it's an inevitability that the castle is going to go down. And so we're just going to let it fall as we try to take out his trebuchets with our own here. And we are able to hit and take one of them down. We decide, even though the castle's gone, let's go try to get these. These are big gold units. If we could take those out, it prevents him from pushing our base, which is something we're worried about. And so without a castle to fire at us, and then we discover there is a 3rd. So we're going to go ahead and take it out, and then we're going to run away. So we run back. So we've taken out 4 trebuchets and 2 castles here at the price of 1 of our own. That's a good trade. And you can see that we've got a pretty big score lead at this point, and a pretty big military lead. And we've closed the eco gap as we're only down by 7 villagers now. And so we're going to get our troops healed up. We have 2 trebs over here. We're beginning to drop a bunch of stables. We want to tech into Hussar, light cavalry that costs only food, and go on the offensive. So we'll speed it up here again for a moment. Now another play, I have 2 options at this point. I could push this castle. I could combine my army and push this castle, or I can come back over here under my castle and I can try to push his base. And so I'm going to decide to push his base rather than to push his castle. As you see, I've sent some villagers over here. I didn't send a lot because of what happened last time, but I want to get this stone because I was out of stone. And there's a pile of gold there that I would like to get as well. As I drop another town center. Over here on the side, I'm going to finish building my houses to get me to 200 population. And I want to get my army up to get my population up to 200 and then go on and attack. So now I'm massing archers. I have 68 archers. I've got 4 catapults, 3 trebuchets, and I have 15 hussars that I've already made, or that are queued up to make. And so I'm going to start dropping cavalry, making a few cavaliers, which are better cavalry units, but they won't be able to compete with his. These are mainly to deal with his skirmishers. And so we're going to come up here, we're going to take down this watchtower, and we're going to begin pushing his base. So we're now sitting on a 1,500 point lead, and we have an army of 97. We should begin to snowball this game here. We've got our villagers out here on the stone and the gold. We've got his attention elsewhere, and so it appears safe for us to be there. So we'd love to come up and get these villagers, start to enter into his base. And so we're going to send our light cavalry in here. They can deal with villagers, and it's not a big deal if we lose them. And we run him off of his gold again. We're going to get a few villager kills along the way as we start to move up. Now here we see the skirmishers coming. And so we've prepared for this. We're going to send our cavalry after his skirmishers. So he has 52 skirmishers, and we've got about 10 cavalry here. And we're just going to send them in and let them do everything. You can see he's already down. We've only lost 2 cavalry, and he's lost 15 skirmishers. And so with them being dealt with, we're going to start to push up with our arbalists right into a group of 21 horsemen. And this is where we realize that we made a key mistake, a few of them, in fact. Key mistake number 1 is leaving our trebuchets exposed. We should have packed them up and moved them behind our castle. Key mistake number 2 is not having this group of 18 archers control group to move up. Key mistake number 3 is not getting our catapults involved more in this. And so we're going to see what happens right here. It is 21 cavalry, and we're going against about 70 archers here. And this is a key moment, a decisive moment in the game as we sit on almost a 2,000 point lead. But our archer numbers are dropping. We're already down into the 30s. We get surrounded by Paladin. He's going to take out the catapults. He's going to come to attack our trebuchets. And this is just a total massacre. I mean, we're going to be the last one with army left on the field, but this is a huge setback for us as we lose our entire mass of archers. We started that encounter with about 70, and now we have 18. We lost 2 trebuchets, 3 catapults. We lost nearly everything as he instantly closes the gap in our score, and it stops our push in its tracks. And so what we should have done, again, we enumerated a few mistakes, but we also should have been, as we realize he is making a castle here, we're going to run in and try to prevent that, but it's too far along. We have no chance here. But we should have been making halberdiers like he's making right here to counter our few cavalry. We should have been making those the whole time to protect our archers. If we had 25 halberdiers, which cost no gold, if we had had those in front of our archers, that's a whole different outcome from that battle. So we run in, we're trying to get eco kills. We get distracted by other things, and his halberdiers are going to pick off all of our cavalry. We're going to get his monk here with our scout. But now we're down to 45 military. He's up to 55. We are not making any military right now except for archers, which we're trying to make as quickly as we can to regain our mass. We have 3 archery ranges. We should have a lot more. We have 5 stables, and we're not even a cavalry civ. So you can see we should have been dropping more production buildings as we go here. Just some key mistakes at this juncture of the game. But we still have the score lead, although it's slight. And so we want to try to remass our archers, and we want to try to move into his base again. And notice again that I still haven't started producing pikemen, halberdiers. It would have been a good idea to do that. But we're thinking we've got some cavaliers. They can't compete with his, but they can hold them off of our archers. And so that's our plan. As the attack bell sounds and we see that we're being pushed by siege rams and by Paladin over here, and so we're going to run our cavalry in. We want our cavalry to take on his skirmishers so our archers can take on his knights. And so we have villagers trying to fight the siege rams. They're getting killed. And then he's got pikemen coming in from the back along with a bunch of villagers, I assume, to try to castle drop. And so we get caught in the crossfire here. Here comes more cavalry, so we're going to quickly house wall to try to keep him out of our base. But he's going to just take that down with rams in no time. The score is flipped massively now. We're now down by over 2,000 points. we're pumping out light cavalry as quick as we can to try to go deal with skirmishers. He's chasing our archers back towards our castle. Our archer numbers continue to dwindle. We're down to 19. Now we're just throwing anything we can at him to stop his push here as he takes out production buildings. Our population is down. It's down at 90. He's into our base. He's killing our villagers. We're down to 80 population. He is at 172. He has 6 rams, 7 rams inside of our base, taking out all of our buildings. It keeps us from being able to build military. It's now a 4,000 score lead. It's just snowballing on us at this point, and there's no way back. Once you drop below 100 population, you are pretty much done. But we're going to give it one last shot here. We send out light cavalry to snipe his trebuchet. Our trebuchet is still sitting up here, taking skirmisher fire, doing nothing, shooting at that castle. And we call the GG, and the game is over. Whatever that guy's name is victorious. He got an early lead on us, getting to Castle Age early. We were able to flip the script in early Imperial. We had a huge lead that we threw away with a few simple mistakes in one 30-second battle, and that's how quickly a game of Age of Empires can turn. We lost all of the momentum, and he was able to snowball that into our base. And so if any one of a few different things went differently there, we likely win this game. But we didn't make halberdiers to shield our archers. We didn't pull them back behind the castle. There's a lot of things that we didn't do, and it ultimately cost us the game. That's how quickly a good game of Age of Empires can go sideways. And so we learned from that. We're going to move on, and we're going to continue the journey to get good at Age of Empires. And so if you guys like this content, drop a comment in the comment section and let me know what you think. And otherwise, we will see you next time on Half and Half Gets Good at Age of Empires.